Going inside the issues of our community, this is Local 12 Newsmakers.
Good morning and welcome to Local 12 Newsmakers. Over the past 8 years, I have devoted many interviews to discussions of Ohio's community schools, which are public schools funded by state tax dollars and are frequently referred to as charter schools. A number of our programs have focused on Harmony Community School, beginning with an interview with David Nordyke, its founder, in 1998. Over the last 2 years, we have featured a number of investigative reports by Local 12 reporter Jeff Hirsch, including one on Harmony's 2005 football program 2 weeks ago. To talk about Harmony, I am joined this morning by Patricia Hughes, the director of the Community Schools Division of Buckeye Community Hope Foundation in Columbus, Ohio, Harmony's news sponsoring organization, and Deland McCullough, the executive director and principal of Harmony Community School. Welcome to Newsmakers and welcome to Cincinnati. Thank you for coming down from Columbus.
My pleasure.
We appreciate that. Let's begin with a question I've never been able to ask, and that is, what's the role of a sponsoring organization for community schools?
Well, as a sponsor, we are charged with providing oversight of the school to assure the state that the school is in compliance with local, state, and federal law, as well as their contract. And we're also providing technical assistance to the schools as they need.
Okay, so as you take on a new school, in this case Harmony,
yes,
you do have a role to play in making sure that Harmony is doing things according to the law, according to good practice, according to good educational practice, according to its charter and its mission, and you can bring about, insist on some changes.
yes,
If you thought there was anything wrong.
absolutely.
Deland, in your case, the school is now shifting from one sponsor, Lucas County, which is not the county itself, by the way. I want to make sure everybody knows that. It's a organization like Buckeye Hope Community Foundation. Happens to be up in Lucas County in Toledo area. But you're shifting from one sponsor to another. From the school's point of view, what difference does that make?
The big difference is, first of all, I believe we had a great run with Lucas County, had a great relationship with Jim George, and ultimately it became a situation as to moving to a sponsor who had a mission match. I know that Patricia had some long-standing ties with Harmony from her life before Buckeye. And I just thought.
Was that with the state?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And I just thought it would be a great match, and making that move over to somebody a little bit closer, and also philosophically, I'm on the same page with us.
Philosophically, give me a concrete example of that.
Well, I mean, basically what Buckeye Community Hope Foundation is about, and Patricia could expand on this, is their mission to serve kids who are situated similar to what Harmony has.
Okay.
So I mean, it ultimately made a better move for us to do that.
Patricia, how would you express that, and what, concretely, what does that mean?
Well, exactly. Our mission at Buckeye evolved starting from the beginning of the foundation in affordable housing, and then from affordable housing we got to the Youth Build USA program, which is a GED program offering students entry into the construction trades through a nationally recognized certificate. Then from there, Buckeye wanted to offer them more than a GED, but a high school diploma. So Buckeye came to the Ohio Department of Education applying for a charter so that they could offer this diploma. That's where I met the folks at Buckeye initially. So they've established their interest in helping students who are essentially at risk. Most of them have already dropped out, and they want to come back in.
And that's really the student body that a lot of the charter schools, but certainly Harmony, says that it wants to educate.
Absolutely.
Now, Harmony very proudly announced last year, because of the state proficiency test, that the school had jumped from being at sort of the lowest category, academic emergency, over to levels that brought it up 2 levels to effective. But then it was revealed that only 84% of the students didn't take the test. This is how you responded at the time, Deland.
The number that was developed as far as the 124 was told to us after that basically the state developed that number based on the age of students that we had that corresponded with being 10th graders. However, our number, based on our charter, which says they have to have a certain amount of credits, came to probably a third of that.
What you're saying is that the way you've structured the school, the curriculum, just because a student is a certain age, they're not necessarily. Looking back on that now, though, was that a mistake? In fact, will the school test students at a particular age? No?
No. We still test by credits. And just like I said on that piece, if we knew what we knew now, which it took months after this whole thing kind of hit the fan to realize that it was more a situation with some of the reporting because we were ungraded school. But the bottom line is last year's numbers were based on age. What we do now is we still are an ungraded school. However, for reporting data into the EMIS system, we've now categorized and put them into grades. So if we had that last year, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because we in essence tested every 10th year student that we had based on credits.
Based on credits, but not on age. But other ungraded programs like Montessori, where my children went, they've been forced in their high school programs not to, even though they group kids not by age, to comply with state testing standards and also the curriculum. So that, in effect, they've dismantled a lot of the Montessori curriculum and sort of forced it into the state system. So what, from the sponsoring organization's point of view, what would you say about the way that Harmony approached testing?
Well, I have spoken with the previous sponsor about that, and they established the approach that needs to be taken, and this 05-06 school year has been the school's first opportunity to put that in place as they've
and is it substantially different?
I would say that that it is substantially different because of the understanding of how this needs to happen in the EMIS system. Yes.
Okay.
That's the only that was the biggest change is, and it took a whole lot of time to figure out where the disconnect happened, and it was just how we reported. We were ungraded, so people did base everything off age.
Yes, because I do have a memo here, and I think it actually is from you, saying that Harmony Community Schools Governing Board acknowledges that based on current information, Harmony did not properly administer all the sections of the Ohio graduation test in its 10th grade students in March 2005. So you did, you're going to change it. Okay. Another area that I know you're interested in is the whole area of students with special needs. You have instituted, as I understand, a special program with Antioch College. You want to quickly sort of summarize that and bring people up to date?
Basically, you know, it's something that we're real proud of. Probably over a year ago, we began having conversations with Antioch just as it related to professional development in general. Last summer, they approached myself and other staff at the school about a new cohort they were starting as it related to special ed certification. We have 17 staff that are involved in that. The relationship grew simply because Zach Sharif, some of the other people who are involved in the education department there at Antioch came through the school and just loved it. And they said, you know, we want to be even more involved, and we thought it would be a great marriage for us to get together, not only on the special ed part, but on the curriculum as well.
My understanding is that because you were one of the original 15 charter schools, you had a guarantee of a little bit more than $800,000 a year for special education. But in fact, you have been claiming, in the latest report, you claim just 32 of the 654 students, so slightly less than 5% of your students are special ed students in terms of your category. Now, my understanding is the $800,000 ends at the end of this academic year, and normal schools get paid per student. Will the number of students that you identify as special needs go up significantly next year?
The first thing is I don't know how up to date that number is.
Well, this is from off the Ohio Education report, Ohio Department of Education, about 6 weeks ago.
Okay. And the thing that report obviously indicates is the students who have been indicated on IEPs, probably correct?
I guess.
The other aspect of the special ed, and this is federally acknowledged as well, as 504 plans, which is another level of special education as well, where those students are entitled to the same benefits as a student who was on the IEP. Obviously, those numbers wouldn't show up in there, but you know.
Do you expect them to go up next year, though, in order to trigger higher payments because you lose this $800,000?
No,
we have to adjust the number.
No, I wouldn't say that the number would have to be adjusted. You have several students who are on 504 plans as well as IEPs.
Okay. Anything from your perspective on special ed?
Well, there's certainly certain requirements that is required of the school with regard to students who need special services, and that's what drives the program.
Okay. Over the last few months, we have aired several reports about various aspects of the football and basketball programs, the athletic programs. The one 2 weeks ago was about the football program at the beginning of this past academic year, while you were still members of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. You've since withdrawn, so the rules don't apply anymore. But one of the big concerns has been students from out of state, and in a few cases, several students who had already graduated from high school. One of them being the young man we see here, Josh Tabb. And the question is, why should the voters, the taxpayers of Ohio, pay tax money, Ohio tax money, to educate out-of-state athletes who are coming here because it's a good athletic program? Why should taxpayers be paying for that, especially if they've already graduated from high school, in a few cases?
May I take that for a second?
Sure.
Certainly, we would not expect the taxpayers of Ohio to pay for students who have already graduated. What I think is the testimony to this school is the fact that they were willing to take a student like Joshua and help him qualify as a scholarship student to a university and not ask the state for payment on that student. So I think it's part of their mission, and that's why they did it.
But here's the problem with that particular case, as I see it, is that community schools are not allowed to charge tuition. And in this particular case, according to an email that came from your communications consultant, Howard Mitchell, to Jeff Hirsch, it says, Harmony charged, when you were asked whether you could charge for that tuition to that student because it was identified as already graduated, and you were told by Lucas County that you could not, Harmony charged the student more than the others who live in the apartment building that's there near the grounds. So you're bearing the tuition under a different name, which seems to me dishonest or perhaps illegal.
I can answer that. Why was Josh Tabb charged more than the other students? Josh Tabb requested his own room. So Josh Tabb, the way that the
It wasn't to make up the money difference?
No. The Josh Tabb and there are other students who, when they want their own place, they pay more. The same thing as if I was at Miami University and requested a single room.
So, but here's a person who's a graduate of high school already. Do you think that he should be there and taxpayers should be paying that?
Well, we already answered that question with the fact that he wasn't even put on there as a student who we were trying to solicit any funds from the taxpayers.
And actually, community schools and other public schools in the state of Ohio can educate students through their 21st year. So I think it wasn't so much his age as it was the fact that he had already graduated.
Right.
Right?
Right. He's already a graduate. And taxpayers are paying for him to go to high school again.
But no, they're not.
Well, somehow. I mean, there's overhead, there's all sorts of things here. I'm over time, and this has gone very fast. And I realize that I want to tell the people upstairs that I know that, but I'm going to continue for a couple more things here. One is, what about Cincinnati Public Schools has filed a lawsuit this past week charging that Harmony does not have a legitimate charter at the moment and has not had since basically a year ago. What's your answer to that?
We have reviewed that situation. Once it was uncovered, the parties got together, agreed to reconstruct the contract, and have done so. The students' services were never interrupted.
So you see no problem here? You think it's a moot point?
That's exactly right.
Okay. Thank you very much. I know there's a ton of other things we could talk about because of all the issues that we've raised. I appreciate you coming on the show and being willing to talk, and good luck. And,
thank you.
Thank you. Right after the break, we'll be joined by some people who make wonderful music in Cincinnati in the next couple of weeks. The eyes of the world will look towards Cincinnati next week to catch a glimpse of the future of piano performance. 169 young artists from 5 to 31 years old from around the world will come to Cincinnati for the World's Piano Competition. To discuss this upcoming competition, I am joined this morning by Polina Bespalko, a participant in last year's World Competition, and Gloria Ackerman, the founder and CEO of the World Piano Competition. Welcome to Newsmakers.
Thank you.
And Gloria, this has been going on for some time.
Yes.
How long have you been with this, and how long has the competition been going on?
I started it 50 years ago, and this will be our 50th anniversary of our 50th competition.
You know, sometimes Cincinnatians think, we're sort of in the backwater, you know, we're between the two coasts. I mean, who's really paying attention to us? How important is this worldwide in the world of piano, in the world of classical music, this competition?
Well, last month, one of our winners just performed to a full house at Lincoln Center's New York concert, and the Russian paper have claimed it as the most important of all competitions, including the Van Cliburn and the Tchaikovsky.
So this is on the map. This puts Cincinnati on the map.
Oh yes.
And Polina, for you personally, last year I mentioned that you performed, but I think you had performed before that as well.
8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Yes.
And when you first performed 8 years ago, you were very young at that point. What was the idea of coming to the United States, coming to this place, Cincinnati, which I'm sure you didn't know much about, coming for this competition? What did that feel like? What was that experience?
It was very, very exciting, first of all, and it was a great opportunity for me to come here and play. And I absolutely loved this competition because it's not only the contest, it's a celebration of music, and I think that's the most important thing.
And this goes for 10 days?
Yes.
10 days. So this is really a chance for people to hear a lot of wonderful music, the celebration of music, as you
Absolutely.
say. And we're going to let people know how they can find out more information and get tickets a little bit later so people can know that.
Right.
For you, as a performer, what's it take to get ready for a competition like this?
It's a lot of work, just simple, work. If you go in the morning at 8 o'clock and you come back at 5, that's what we do, but we do it at the piano. And plus, of course, psychologically, you have to be ready to do that because your colleagues are very strong. So you have to be strong too.
Do you feel like doing that 8 years ago when you were what, maybe
20.
20? Okay.
Yes.
Did that help you? Was this the biggest competition up to that point that you had performed in?
Yes, one of them. Yes.
And did that help you
develop
hone your skills and really
Yes,
improve?
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Being surrounded, like I said, by great performers, being judged by amazing judges, it automatically puts you at a different level.
Gloria, who does judge this?
Well, we've had the president of the Tchaikovsky piano competition, Sergei Durinsky, who is also the past president of the Tchaikovsky Conservatory. And we've had Andre Watts here, who is our president emeritus, and Leon Flesher and Arthur Rubenstein did a master class for the winners several years ago. So we've had world support from the very beginning.
And in terms of these 169 young people who will be coming this year, were there a lot of others who applied and this is the group that was selected?
Oh yes, we had national and international auditions throughout the world in February, and we had several hundred who applied, and we also did auditions with video as well as live, and then we accepted some.
And what for the winner, for the gold medalist, and we are going to hear last year's gold medalist here at the end of our segment. What happens? What happens for that gold medalist? What opportunity does this open up?
Well, first of all, Ilya returned to Cincinnati, performed 5 concerts for us, 3 outreach programs for children from over the Rhine, one at the Aronoff, one at the library, and then he performed a concert at the Taft Museum of Art for the community, and he did a patron concert and another private concert. Then additionally, he went down to Naples, Florida, where he performed for 1,500 children in an outreach program. He will perform at Lincoln's Ellis Tully Hall for his concert, and he'll be reviewed in the New York Times.
Which is a pretty big step.
Yes.
Polina, you performed last year. I understand that you came in 6th. Is that correct?
Right, that's correct.
And what's your career? What is it that you're working on now? Where are you headed?
Well, I just completed my artist diploma in Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music, and in September I'm going to start my doctoral program with one of the new professors. His name is Avadajan Prat. So it's very exciting for me. It's a new page in my career. And I hope I will play the competition next year too.
So you would hope to go back and play again. How old? I mentioned 5 to 30.
31.
31 is the oldest that you
Yes.
can. So you still have some time.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So it would be important for you to go back and play.
Yes, I think so, and I think every year it's becoming better and better and better and better. It's progressing. And the level of musicians are higher, and it's always nice to test yourself.
Gloria, we got less than a minute here, but what's the thing that you're looking for this year? What you're most excited about this year?
Well, I'm very excited about being able to bring back 2 of the winners from last year. One who just performed with the Cleveland Symphony and received rave reviews, and another one who will be playing at Tanglewood. And they're coming back to play with the orchestra, and Eric Dudley will be doing the conducting.
Well, thank you for all your work in making this happen in Cincinnati. Thank you for not only performing, but for living here now and enriching us. The World Piano Competition will be held from June 27th to July 8th at the Aronoff Center. The information about the competition and tickets to check out the website at www.cincinnatiwpcworldpianocompetition.org. We leave you this morning with a passage from the performance of last year's gold medal winner, Ilya Yakushev. Is that right? Close enough. A 24-year-old from Russia. Have a good week.